chosen. Deuteronomy 7 verse 6, for thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. This is talking about the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, which are the Israelites, according to the biblical prophecies of today. We are the descendants of the ancient Israelites. We are the children of the slave trade. This is what the Bible says about us. Deuteronomy 7 verse 6, for the Israelites, thou art a holy people unto the Lord your God. The Lord your God have chosen you. He chose us. He could have chose any other nation upon this earth, but he chose us to be a special people unto himself. So the Most High don't have another selected special people unto himself. No, the only people that he has chosen and the only people that he has special unto himself is the Israelites. And that's you blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. So count it all joy and count your blessings if you are the chosen, because the Most High elected you to be a special people, not to everybody, but unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. It says above all. That means we are above all the other nations. The Israelites are above all the other nations. The other nations, they ain't got shit on us. They can't top us. We are above all you other heathens and you Gentiles. Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, you are the Israelites. You are above the white man, which are the Edomites. You are above the Ammonites, which are the Japanese. You are above the Moabites, which are the Chinese. You are above the East Indians, which are the Elamites. You are above the Kittamites, which are the Romans. You are above the Javanites, which are the Greeks. You are above the Hamites, which are the Africans. You are above the Asherites, which are the Assyrians. You are above the Mizraimites, which are the Egyptians. And any other damn heathen nation and Gentile nation on this earth, they can't top the nation of Israel, because we are above all people that are upon the face of this earth. I didn't say it. God said it in his word. And you heathen nations have failed to acknowledge that we are God's special people. Even though we telling you that we are the Israelites according to the biblical prophecies. You heathen nations, hell will freeze over before you acknowledge that we are God's special and chosen people, man. Because you fail to acknowledge that out of your pump and your pride, man. You don't want to acknowledge that we the salt of the earth. You don't want to acknowledge that. You don't want to acknowledge that the Lord set his love upon us. You don't want to acknowledge that the Lord chose us to be his people and to himself. And he loved us and he kept the oath that he had sworn to our fathers. But you don't want to acknowledge that. You heathen nations don't want to acknowledge that. You better get on your P's and Q's and you better start showing high regards for the nation of Israel, man, because that's what you're supposed to be doing. But if you don't want to, cursed you shall be as a nation. You already cursed because you, especially the Edomites, the so-called white man, these Africans, and the rest of these heathen nations, what they have done to God's chosen people thus far. All these unspeakable atrocities, all this rape, rob, and murder that you have carried out on God's people. You got to pay for that, man. The best thing you can do is turn your shit around and stop mistreating God's people and get on your P's and Q's of showing his people high regards, respect, and honor and tribute. This is Isaiah 40 and 15. Behold, the nations. It's talking about these heathens, non-Israelite people. Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket. Because you're not going to miss a drop. You're going to be concerned with the abundance of water in the bucket. A drop is nothing. And that's what these other heathen nations and these Gentiles is counted as. That's what the so-called white man, which are the Edomites, the Africans, the Hamites, you understand, and the rest of these nations. This is how God look at the rest of these nations. He looks at them as a drop compared to a full bucket of water, man. You see, the nations are as a drop of a bucket and are counted as the small dust of the balance because they don't hold any weight. These other nations are looked at as the speck of dust. They count it as very little, the small dust of the balance. Behold, he taketh up the islands as a very little thing, because that's talking about them, the South Pacific. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of heathens over there too. And he look at them as, he take them up as very little. It says in Lebanon, Isaiah 40 and 16, that's the Arabs, them Ishmaelites, and Lebanon is not sufficient to burn. You understand? Nor the beasts thereof sufficient for a burnt offering. You get what I'm saying? Because first and foremost, the Most High didn't give his laws, statutes, and commandments to the Arabs. You understand? Isaiah 40 and 17. All nations, this is talking about you Gentiles. This is talking about non-Israelite people. If you're not black, Hispanic, and Native American descent. All you other nations before the Most High, all you before the Lord, all before him are as nothing. You're nothing. You're nothing. This ain't what I've written. This is what God says in his word. You're nothing. You understand? But you're everything. You're everything if you acknowledge us. You're everything if you show high regard and respect to God's chosen people. And if you did what Rahab did and are the blessing God's people instead of cursing God's people, you are everything. See, we make you what you are. We make you everything that you are. Okay? So you are as nothing. If you want to disrespect and you want to disapprove of God's chosen people, then you are nothing. But if you want to be counted as something, then show God people respect and bless the nation of Israel instead of cursing us. Because all you nations are as nothing, and they are counted to the Most High less than nothing, and they are vanity. You understand? I didn't write it. This is what God says in his word, man. You understand?